Timbaland's legacy seems to be shot from the creative perspective, and a lot of it seems to be because he's a snake. My name's Sean, Longevity with Bringing Down the Band and New Old Heads podcast, and this is my Unpacked series where I go deeper on topics in hip-hop and oftentimes and most times on the New Old Heads podcast that I'm a part of. And we talked about two recent incidents where Timbaland has been caught stealing, essentially. Shouts to Curtis King for covering it. But let's watch this episode and go in a little bit deeper on this. Timbaland is stealing again. Timbaland is a kleptomaniac, apparently. Stop stealing, go get help.
And not a good one.
Yeah, so he's been caught again stealing using his, what they call Baby Timbaland AI from Suno. Curtis King spoke with singer-songwriter producer, I think it's Zara Skully, about her unfortunate situation with Timbaland and her viral post highlighting what sounds like AI music trained off of her voice without her permission. Now, what I didn't realize is when we missed a week, we were going to actually talk about Timbaland. It was the week that you guys came over, but we didn't talk about it. When he essentially stole 𝗕𝗓𝗪𝗓's music as well. So we got two little things here to talk about. Let's talk about, maybe I'll just play both videos.
Yeah, let's play both of them.
And then just make it a segment because there's a lot going on. So here's the first one.
About to bring tears to my eyes. God, wow,
Gas
do you
up.
hear that?
Find out you're just a hurt one.
Got one.
This is what you call greatness.
And that was the first time I ever played it for anybody, was on that live. And I wrote that record like so personally, and I've held on to it for like a year. He was so excited about my music, and he said he prayed to God about me, and I was right under his nose the whole time because I had known him for years.
That's such a weird thing to say. Like, I prayed to God that I would find some, you're Timbaland. You're supposed to be Timbaland. Like, I don't know.
I wanted to believe it. I would answer when I was even serving tables at work. And he's like, we got to get you like a videographer to your job and serving tables and like tell the story like, because you won't be there long kind of thing. He put this song Suspicions.
Maybe I've just been around the music industry too long to just know that just sounds like complete bullshit from the jump. And I've just known too many people that have been cheated out of things from people in positions of power,
which is Baby Timbo. And he was on the next day on March 8th calling me being like, I changed your voice. Like I had a different accent. Like I was a man at some point. And he was having fun. And at first I was like, this is cool. Like I didn't realize the whole weight of it all,
This is something that you granted him permission to do?
I didn't really understand anything. I was just excited to be on FaceTime and with Tim. And then it was just a lot of that and then nothing. I was confused. That's all. I was just like, why does it sound like me? And I even commented that. And then a lot of people commented that. He kind of just like didn't really respond. And then when it came out about the AI stuff with 𝗕𝗓, that's why I was like, wait, hold on. That literally sounded like me.
The AI that she's referencing, the 𝗕𝗓, was supposed to be the
AI character.
Yeah. The actual AI character that was going to be the front woman AI of his AI label. So it looks like it potentially might have been trained on her. Now, here's another video. This is 𝗕𝗓𝗪. I think he's out of Seattle. I could be wrong. I don't know. He's super dope. About Timbaland, essentially. It's crazy. I know of 𝗕𝗓𝗪 because he produced the J Pender joint from a long time ago. And I remember when I looked him up, I had to look him up because I used to see his Instagram or TikTok videos of him just doing like this and playing the beats. Like, man, all these beats are cold. Who is this guy? And I looked up, I was like, oh, he's this guy. He produced this record that I really liked way back in the day. But anyways, in a different type of way.
It's Timbaland. He's one of the greatest of all time. You know what I mean? So there's a level of excitement that I wanted to have from my music to even reach somebody like that. But then there's also a bit of frustration as a grown man because it's like you just saying my name could have went a long way for me. Quite frankly, it's upsetting to continue to be in these situations where I don't feel like I want to say it's the right thing to do, but I think there's a little sense of integrity that like you could have just, if you liked it that much, a little bit goes a long way for somebody like me. Like my feet is still on the ground, bro. Like I'm working for everything and I'm not asking for much, but just that could have been enough. You know what I mean? So
if he's listening, guess who called for that beat? Ghostface Killah, because of that post.
Why don't you tell him?
So I'm trying to call him today and say, yo, man, you need to send that beat to Ghostface. I don't get enough of that. But that post said, yo, God, can you send me that beat? That ain't my beat.
I don't know about you, brother, but I get PTSD from the music industry that I chose to stay away from when I hear that. He said he reached out to you about a possible placement that was going to happen because of him taking your music without permission. Like, what are we talking about? That has to do with Ghostface Killah. Is that something that you were aware of?
No. For one, where did he reach out to him? My DMs are in shambles right now, so I haven't even got through all of them. But I think another interesting fact is you could have told Ghostface who made the beat. And ironically, Ghostface has my number. I've already sent beats to Ghostface. So Ghostface follows me. So if Ghostface wanted that beat, he could have reached out to me directly.
We can talk about this further, but is this just like further proof that AI can't create anything? I meant to say anything new.
Yeah, it needs something to draw from. Yeah. Man, both of these clips speak to.
I definitely expected that conversation to go deeper. It was just like one sentence and done.
The dangers of just being happy to be in the room with these people, man. You know what I mean? Because ultimately they there to steal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
but I would say that KFresh didn't even know.
Yeah.
He took his video directly from like
his
TikTok.
Instagram, and then put it. That's the thing that's really, and I'm afraid for that because I've had instances and situations where sometimes I've been places and I've just been happy to be there, and I've heard my shit. You know what I mean? So somewhere else, you know what I mean?
Many of us have actually been there.
Yeah,
Mike's been there a few times. I've been there a couple times. Not as serious of stuff. Mage is gonna have to tell his story someday. I don't want to tell it for him, but it's a pretty crazy story. So, but
I mean, like, I remember I wanted to be happy that my face and my voice were on Netflix, but I really couldn't be happy about that.
Yeah,
because you didn't get no money.
I didn't get no money, and there's no acknowledgement.
No money.
They eventually at least fixed it to say it was the new old heads. But
I think that's the part that was the most frustrating about that was that they apparently saw the fact that we were upset that they mislabeled us wrong.
And then fixed it.
They fixed it, but they still didn't reach out at all. Yeah, it was a very interesting thing. We have a small clip where we're on the, there's actually two documentaries that happened right back to back. One was the Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion video on HBO or documentary. So we're on that one randomly. And then the other one is a Netflix one, which is the Ladies of Hip Hop. We got a very small short segment in there. But that one, they labeled us wrong. And like they labeled it as Bringing Down the Band because that's where we used to put the clips out at. We used to put our segments out there. So I know that they saw it from Bringing Down the Band, like the actual segment. But everything says New Old Heads on there, New Old Heads podcast and all this stuff. I understand mistakes happen sometimes. Like, I get that. But when you are such an entity where you're going to sell something to Netflix, you need to cross all those T's and you need to dot all those I's. And it would have just been a nice courtesy to just at least reach out and say, hey, we're doing this in here. And maybe share the love a little bit, like even if it was just like a 3 second clip, like at least get our name right. And then if you're going to fix it, like at least reach out to us and acknowledge it. Like give us the acknowledgement, like treat us like, like you obviously care about us because you used our clip. So treat us as such. That came out that first week and it was labeled wrong and people didn't know who we were. It's like, man, that's kind of messed up, man. But anyways, that's the story.
What's crazy about this whole Timbaland situation is when I look back, Timbaland's been doing this for a long time.
A very long time.
Because I remember he would go on live and want people to play their music in hopes of getting him to work with him. So he was secretly recording all of this shit that people were.
Yeah, he used to do this, and the general talking point was like he's looking for artists to like start a label too, and he's been doing this for a while.
Playing them as he's hyping them up and putting them in this machine.
Allegedly,
yeah,
right.
To create this AI music. And like to your point, can AI create?
I know.
It can create plagiarism.
Yeah.
Evidently, and what's his name can put his stamp on it, Timbaland. But at the end of the day, it needs something to reference. And it's referencing this stuff and literally spitting the same thing right back out at you.
But let the people that are pro AI say it, and they'll say, well, it's the same thing as any other type of creativity.
It's not, though.
It's the same thing because instead of it being in like this model, it's just in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's different, and I look at AI in multiple ways because technically all AI is kind of exploitative to some degree, especially depending on where it's learning information from. It's just kind of the truth of it. And I do use AI for a lot of technical related stuff, script writing and organization and, just thought processes stuff, here and there. I don't really use it for like images or anything like that, like videos or anything like that. But I do feel like it's going to get more ingrained into the things that we do. So I'm not 100% anti AI, but what I will say is that like the music stuff is like stealing. Like it's stealing. Like you're stealing riffs, you're stealing. I don't know, man. To be honest, there's even though I use the stuff, there's ethical things involved in all of the AI related stuff when credit isn't given and when depending on what it's being trained from. The one thing I will say about the music stuff is like if you're training off my music, I didn't give you permission to do that. I didn't sign any contract that said that you could do that. If you're training off of my data on YouTube or Instagram or Facebook, I'm pretty sure that's always been in the terms of service. So it's like, whatever, like it's just such a large grouping to train something off of a bunch of code or a bunch of, it's different than like when you're training off of musical expertise. Like if I want to make a song and then pull inspiration from Thundercat and Flying Lotus, like that's a direct correlation. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to make AI images and I'm going to pull AI images directly from a certain style, that's directly in there. If I'm going to make a funk record, but I want it to sound like this type of funk record from this type of era, well, there's artists that exist in that era that created that sound, and it's just a more elevated version of sampling in a way. But the difference is like, with sampling, you can figure out where it came from a lot of times, and, the infrastructure has been built around that. And I think right now I just know there's no infrastructure around being able to track where this stuff is from, where it comes from, where it goes. And I don't know if there ever will be.
I can't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Because and he's showing, this is like the fourth or fifth example in the past, 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
So there's obviously more than that. He has a whole database full of thievery and deceit that he's going to try to put out for people to listen to and hopefully vibe with. And he's bringing other artists along on this ride because other artists are trying to hop on this wave now too. Literally right before the show, I seen something about 𝗕𝗓𝗓 is trying to create an AI artist as well now. And it's like, where is this going to go?
Yeah.
Like how many people have to be, what I'm saying, their creativity stolen from for this to become an issue? And I imagine that since these laws have not been written for this AI stuff quite yet, that once it is written, a lot of people are probably going to owe a lot of money. Because I don't think it's going to be in their favor.
I do know this is a weird connection here. I have an official remix that has come out with an artist who goes by Miss Crystal. She's like a dark pop artist. But she's also got a YouTube channel. She's an attorney, goes by Top Music Attorney. She's been kind of blowing up of late. She did a whole interview with like Needle Drop. I saw Curtis reacting to her earlier, and shouts to Curtis King. He was the guy who was interviewing both of these people in this clip. So shouts to Curtis for the work he's been doing. Shouts to her because she's been kind of on Spotify's head for their nonsense. But I believe that she has created a class action lawsuit against Suno and Udio.
Oh, really?
For this stuff. Because
and I verified this in the editing. I just didn't add a clip in there. But yeah, she is. She's got a class action lawsuit that she's putting out for this, so kudos to her.
Because of how it trains and how it's not paying anybody. So it's kind of a cool connection. So shouts to you. I've never met you, but
it's really kind of funny. Like I was just browsing YouTube one day and I saw a remix competition. And I just made a remix and just sent it in, and I didn't think anything of it. And then it turned into like a remix project or something. So the song's called "Say to Me." So check out Miss Crystal's "Say to Me" remixes if you're interested.
We have an official remix out. So
because now once your voice is a part of the cloud or whatever, like it can't be taken back. It's now part of the training process of creating artificial art.
That's the thing. Like if you used it, you trained it off my music, I want something from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like give me my percentage. If the AI model used 0.0002%, I want my 0.0002%.
If you just like streaming on Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, like if Drake samples that, all right, cool. 0.0002% of 785 billion streams is a check.
Mm-hmm. Actually, $185,000. I did the math. Even though 785 billion streams is like absolutely crazy, but
not a lot, but it's something.
It's a check.
You know what I mean? So it's just like, and I don't know, like you said, I don't think you can't put the smoke back into the burnt out electronics. You know what I mean? Like
put the toothpaste back in the tube.
You know, you can try, but I don't know how this is going to be solved. I don't think it's ever going to be correct in the way that it should be.
Nah.
But You know,
I honestly think the people that are doing it right now are going to get off scot-free. This is almost like a PPP loan for them.
Yeah.
Once they create the thing going forward, that's probably going to just gridlock it right there. Okay, from here on out, you can't train AI with artists A, Y, and Z, because then you're going to owe them this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
It's going to probably fall back to like sampling laws eventually.
I actually looked into something. It's kind of crazy. There's this. I use DaVinci Resolve to edit stuff. I have like the premium studio version because it's not subscription based, and you can do tons of stuff, like even scoring and stuff with the Fairlight Suite. But anyways, this isn't a DaVinci ad. But they have this new thing with the brand new version 20 where you can train somebody's voice. And so I was going to do that as a joke on one of our, actually it was this segment, not this segment, but this episode where I was reading a Nelly quote. And I was like, I wonder if I could like train Nelly's verse or voice and have his voice like sound like me saying it, but it'd be his voice when we do the quotes. I was like, that'd be kind of a cool thing to do. But then I started thinking, I was like, probably get sued for that or something. Like, even though it's like just for fun, I feel like you can't do that. But that's, this is just going to continue to expand.
But right now, it's the Wild Wild West because there are no laws in place.
Wow.
So Timbaland is exploiting the hell out of it right now. And he's doing it in real time because he's literally showing you what he's doing and he's talking about it and telling you exactly what he's doing with this shit. And I think that's more insulting than anything because he's literally telling you, it's dope, but I'm going to put it in this machine and see what I can do with it.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to release it. And you still don't have a deal because I don't even think she doesn't have a deal. She was expecting to work with Timbaland.
Yeah, expecting. I think that's so what Timbaland is doing is it's different than just, there's layers to why what Timbaland is doing is foul. It's not that he's just like using AI and he's using people's music or just using the AI in general to create a label and all this stuff. No, like he's stealing. Like he's stealing people's music and trying to pass it off as his own. Like he's literally stealing. It's one thing to just kind of do it and have questions about the ethical nature of AI, but he's like doing that, but also stealing.
Personally.
Yeah, I need to watch Curtis's full interview. I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know the full specifics on that.
And she don't got to deal with Timbaland, especially after that interview.
Man, I don't know. This makes me question Timbaland,
period,
for at least the last 20 years.
So that was actually going to be one of my next talking point was, number one, is there any coming back from this if you're Timbaland? At this point, with the type of like just betrayal to the entire music
creative process.
And music community, like, is there any coming back from this? And two, to your point, which you've mentioned, how long has Timbaland been doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Or some form of this.
Yeah, some form of this, not just AI, because this isn't the first thing that we've ever heard about Timbaland stealing beats.
Nah. I think he has this on his reputation forever here on out, honestly, and is putting an asterisk next to his production credibility. Issued an apology for, I think, one of the artists that we talked about. He had written a post.
KFresh.
Was that KFresh? Okay, yeah. So he issued that apology. So is he just going to keep issuing apologies for everybody's from here on out
when he gets caught
and continue to do it? Yeah, because he's doing this live streaming.
Some people, that is their MO. It's just like do it and ask for forgiveness afterwards.
Yep. We can see you. You know what I'm saying? We can see you and hear exactly what you're doing. So who knows what all else he has in his vault.
And let's not also not talk about this scam of paying Timbaland so he can review your music live on his live stream.
He's stealing. That's exactly what I was talking about. He's literally listening to your dubbing it and stealing it, loading it into this machine, and creating with it.
I don't think that I'm going to make the bold claim. I don't really think it's too much of a hot take. I don't think that Timbaland can bounce back from this from a musical producer standpoint here forward. Everything that he puts out from here on out, I think will be questioned.
Well,
I don't know about the past.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it's going to be extremely hard to get past this. I mean, even from the stuff he was doing, where he was doing like live streams with people and the comments that he made, and when he did his Timbaland Rhythm Roulette, I know a lot of people kind of went into that thinking, "Ooh, it's Timbaland." I was like, "This is gonna be ass," and it was. And it's just, I don't know, but that's not really the point. Like Timbaland obviously has skills, but at this point in time, you can't trust anything that he does. Like he's not even apologizing.
He's going to have to be extra transparent and say he comes out and he does a record for, I don't know who he do a record. Like they do a new Nelly Furtado record and it winds up going to #1. He's going to have to be extremely, he's going to have to show, okay, this is where I started and this is where I ended, because people are going to just assume he stole.
Yep.
That's not, I wouldn't say that's not fair, because it is fair at this point, because we've seen you do this in real time. It's like if somebody,
got no shame.
Yeah. It's like, sadly, what I've got drawn into in the algorithm on my YouTube is people who like to steal out of Walmart. So imagine like you steal out of Walmart, and you're successful with it. You get home with the stuff and you unwrapping it, and then I see you with a new shirt on and you trying to tell me about how you paid for it. It was like, no, I see you steal all the time.
Yeah.
Why would I believe that you bought that shirt?
Well, now your picture's on the window when you walk in the store.
You've been
That's literally what Timbaland is now. His picture is on the front.
You've been trespassed from the store, but you want me to believe that you paid full top dollar for whatever it is that you say that you bought.
Yeah, he's been spiraling. I think we've all seen that what's the name, the roulette?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
And that was not the Timbaland
Terrible.
that I grew to enjoy when he created that beat.
Byron looks so disgusted.
And mind you, there's been a lot of misses on there here lately, but Timbaland is somebody that I credit as a great producer.
There have also been some really good ones as well.
What he did on there was not great. And what he's doing now with using people's music is not great either, because you're literally just using their talent and putting your own little spin on it.
He's not been great for some time.
A very long time.
Yeah. And
Just at least Blueprint 3, because those are some of the worst. That's some of the worst stuff he ever did.
I also asked the question to you guys, though. Is what he's doing just par for the course? Because Dre uses a team of producers to come up with records that he quote unquote produces.
He credits them though.
And they get paid.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you.
So that's the one argument too. It's like, how is this different from anything else? It's just the exploitation. It's the exploitation piece. Because like, sure, using a team is like, if AI, let's say AI was ethical. Let's say everybody put all their own music into it and they volunteered to do so. Like, yes, you can use it. And then he made something with it. Then you can potentially have the argument about, what's the difference? He's just collaborating with AI, right? But that's not what anybody's talking about. That's not the problem. That's not the problematic part. I mean, we could talk about that being problematic, but because there are issues with not using human beings to do a creative thing, and there are different types of, like, this isn't like auto-tune. This isn't like, oh, I'm going to snap your voice and you can still be creative as a human. This is, no, I'm going to just extract wealth and information and create a new thing by completely bypassing the creative process. That's not what this is. But to the point being made right here, the difference is that it's just that.
You that much.
I mean, the same thing.
That's
with
the difference.
The
That's
same
the
thing
main difference.
with when we talk about Puff Daddy as a producer. When you go through and look at
the credits,
because you can look at the credits, like at least I know through Tidal, you can go through and look at all the credits of who produced what.
And even if they're a ghost producer, they're paid for that, and it's not behind closed doors. It's not like I'm stealing something in that particular type of way.
It's not. Oh, I'll get you next time.
Yeah, it's not like,
Now,
they caught me.
Well,
Let
that's
me,
kind of what Kanye was doing with this last Vulture situation.
Yeah, he got caught up too.
And he got caught up. That's why a lot of those songs can't be streamed.
Yep, it's foul.
Give people the credit so they can go on and do something else.
Yeah, I think that's the other piece. Is like, what does it say? I mean, about Timbaland's character to like double down on this so heavy, and even like a while ago. He was on a live. I watched part of his live when the first time we talked about this.
Y'all lighting people ass today, boy. What about his character? No, it's real. That's a real question.
I mean, when he was challenged in this same type of setting that it was like this, and it was Timbaland, but it was on the other side of a live.
Yeah,
she was just barring him up, and he just kind of sat there uninterested the entire time. And so, like, if you have somebody, it's one thing to have like some type of remorse. Some type of understanding for the thing that you're doing. But if you're going to listen to somebody say, hey, this is wrong for these reasons, and you're just like, nah, I don't, okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's like, don't even listen to the person. Like, don't bring the person onto the live. Don't pretend like you're interested in hearing alternative information outside of the thing that's going to keep you in your power structure. Don't do it just because you want to show face. And that's essentially what it felt like.
Cool.
That's your opinion. No, at this point, it's not really opinion,
It's a
man.
fact.
It's not opinion that you are exploiting people. Like, it's what it is. Like, you can call it an opinion, but it's still fact. So,
because he has to put himself in a position to. We don't know who Timbaland is.
for sure.
So all of those beats that he made with the cricket sounds and weird noises, that was like top notch. Nobody was doing that back then.
Right.
Imagine somebody stole that
Look at
from
Byron's
you,
face.
and now it's not yours. And the sound that Timbaland created is now this artificial intelligent computers that another producer took from you and called it his own.
Well, I
He has to
remember
put himself in that position to actually understand what this is.
It's a, yeah.
I remember there was a little whispering during Timberland's initial ascension that he was, he jacked some styles from some drum and bass cats over in Europe.
That hurts.
But I mean, like I was like, all right, if he really jacked it, okay, because he was on that run after what he did.
Yeah, I remember this. I remember when this happened, and I remember being like, oh, it was this person. I remember hearing the comparison. This was like early 2010s, I think. And it just disappeared. Nobody like talked about it anymore.
It for Aaliyah's 1 in a Million.
Yep.
And so at that point, I was just like, was it false? Was it, I don't know. But I mean, I've heard stories.
And then, because I remember at first, Genuine. So, he was on a run where he was like, all right, well, once again, there's people saying that, make another Hove.
Or maybe it was earlier than that. Maybe it was like 2006 or 7, which would make more sense because the internet wasn't it was harder to uncover stuff back then. Because not everybody was like online like this. There was no social media.
They were suing people back then for that type of shit too, though.
Yeah.
But not always, right? Because we know people. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to like try to tackle like imagine somebody who is not out there like that and somebody steals their stuff and they don't really have a good way to kind of defend themselves. Like, I'm sure this stuff happens all the time. You know what I mean? But to me, it's just like he got caught with his hand in the cookie jar a lot. And I don't think let me just say me personally, there's no coming back from this from Timbaland for me. Like for others, that's cool, but like to me, it's more than just the stealing of the music. It's like, it's to your point, it's his character. And I just don't vouch with that,
I'll agree with you because like you mentioned before, the crickets and all of this, that, and the third, the shit he was doing back in the day. You know what? In its time, it was cool. That shit was fire, actually. But you live long enough, turn into a villain.
Maybe.
And that shit does not sound good to me no more, man. It all sound like...
You mean if somebody did it today, or those songs have not aged well in your...
Those songs have not aged well. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
I ain't gonna say that.
1 in a Million still slaps.
Yeah.
Some of them do.
1 in a million, yes, but...
Pony still slaps.
Pony, okay.
Are you that somebody still slaps?
It does not slap to me no more.
Really?
It just, are you
maybe it's because I'm such a fan of Aaliyah.
Yeah, Are You That Somebody does not slap to me no more. That little part at the end with the baby crying and shit, turn the song off before it gets there.
I mean, it was definitely a sound of a time.
100% don't slap.
Some of the songs, yeah.
Yeah, there was so much on especially.
We've talked about this a lot. I think Timbaland was great when he was working with one artist for a whole project, and the project was R&B. Outside of that, he's a miss to me.
And Timbaland has. I'm not going to discredit him when it comes to that type of thing.
Like Anxious, yeah, all of those are cool. But again, to a point that I made previously,
right?
Because he was dropping some bullshit then too.
Yeah, because dirt off your shoulders is fucking annoying. It sounds like my ears are getting stabbed, man. Turn that part off of the song, man. If I could,
it worked back then, man.
And I still think that song slaps. But like I said, I was in my Jay-Z bag, and I'm like, that's the song off of Black Album that I can skip. Yeah,
I've been saying this for like a decade.
I know.
It's like, but anyways,
yeah.
I've always hated that record. I've always hated that beat.
Lobster and Shrimp. I don't want to hear that shit no more.
You don't want to hear Indian Flute?
No,
I didn't like that song.
Yeah, I wasn't saying that because I didn't care for that song either.
Drop. If it was not for the movie with Lil Saint, that song would be bullshit. You know what I mean? Like,
he's going off right now. But anyways, it's kind of getting a little fun at the end. But in general, like, I don't really think there's any coming back from this for Timbaland. I don't think he has the remorse. I don't think he thinks what he's doing is wrong, and I don't think he feels like he needs to stop. I don't feel like he has any type of ethical problems with what he's doing, and I feel like Maybe if he gets sued, he'll stop. Maybe that's part of it. You know, I've never really been, again, this is transparent. I've been on the internet for Timbaland literally commented on one of the segments or one of the clips that me and Byron, Brother to the Night, were talking about how, you know, he's typically had the corny beat on the hip hop album when he was back in the day. And he was like, damn, you know, but like, I stand by it. And doesn't mean that he hasn't always been, he's been innovative in his own type of ways. And the only way I don't think you can come back from something like this. This is a very large betrayal. This is a very large betrayal of an entire community. And, you know, luckily for him, he doesn't have to impress me, you know, and I'm not the end all be all. I'm just a person with an opinion. So that's just me and my thoughts. You know, I hope that he has a change of heart. I hope that, you know, just because he is who he is, just because he's not a tech bro, because he's a creative person, maybe he thinks he can get away with this stuff to some degree, but nah, man, you got to stop. It's just not cool. But this has been Unpacked with Longevity. That is me. If you want to check out all of our uncut segments, because this actually goes on for a little bit longer, that I think only lives on our Patreon. It's patreon.com/newoldheads to get all that cool content. Support the show if you like it. And until next time, I'll see you. Peace.